Okay, it's 6:30, and that is the time for the meeting of the Murray City Municipal Council. This is Tuesday, May 16th, 2017, and I'd like to welcome all those who are present and also those who are viewing us on the internet. So, welcome. Let's get started, and first of all, if you would turn off your cell phones, I would appreciate it. And it looks like everyone is present on the council with the exception of Brett Hales, who is excused, and welcome, Mayor. And we'll start with the opening ceremonies. First, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and I have asked Spencer Linthorst to provide us with that. Spencer.
Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The audience may now listen.
Good job. Thank you, Spencer. Now we'll do the approval of the minutes for the council meeting of April 18th, 2017. Are there any changes, additions to those meeting minutes? If none, I will
Motion to approve the minutes.
second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That's approved. Now, special recognition. First of all, I would like to recognize the Boy Scouts that are present. And if one of you would stand, let's begin with, what's your name?
My name is Walker, and I'm in my trip to 602, and we are working on citizenship in the community.
Great. And next to you is Spencer.
And it's the same thing, we're in 602, and we're working on the citizenship merit badge.
Spencer, you're next to,
Coleman. My name is Coleman, and I am working on the citizenship and the community merit badge, and I'm Troop 602.
all right. And
I'm Eli, and I am in Troop 602, and I am doing the citizen in the community merit
great.
badge.
Eli, would you introduce your leader?
This is Roger Player, and he's our leader. He's been our leader for 2 years because he switched from 11, and then he switched from 10, and then he went to 11. So.
Proud to be their 11-year-old scout.
Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Okay, now our next special recognition is Murray City Council Employee of the Month. And that is Greg Hill, Murray City Water Tech 2. And usually Brett Hales would be part of this ceremony, but since he's been excused, then Doug Hill and I will do this. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is usually Brett still, but I'm so lucky to be able to do it this time. And so this is Employee of the Month, and the City Council started it, I guess, about 7 or 8 years ago, I think, just to make sure that we had our employees know that we really appreciate them, and they do a wonderful job for us, and we really appreciate that. So thank you very much, Greg. There is that, and also you get a $50 gift certificate, so either for you or whoever you may want to give it to. So anyway, thank you so much. Doug?
Well, it's my pleasure to be able to present this award to Greg. I know you're wondering, is Greg my brother? And the answer is no.
I thought he was your son.
But but I would. I've known Greg now for the 21 years that he's worked for the city, and I'd be proud to claim him as a brother. He's that good of a guy. I'd like to just read a little bit about what Greg's supervisors, Corey Wells, who's here tonight, and Danny Astle, our water superintendent, just some things that they said about Greg. Greg Hill was raised in Murray and started to work for Murray City in 1996. He was excited and ready to contribute wherever he could. From the beginning, Greg has always had an amazing level of maturity that has contributed to a great work environment. Greg came with a work ethic that is second to none. Greg has a calm temperament that has always been a stabilizing factor among the many crews and personalities that he has worked with over the years. He has been an example to all when working with our citizens. He is always helpful and courteous, even in stressful situations. Greg has always been an employee that anyone and everyone could rely on for help at any hour of the day or night. He has never failed to answer a call for help after hours. Greg is one to pay attention to detail. He learns and interprets new things so that he can help others understand them. Greg avoids computer technology and says, let the younger guys do that. However, even amidst the many changes in the water division since 1996, he has been called on over and over again to help teach and train the many new and even seasoned employees how to see a job through to even that final piece of grass that needs to be replaced. Greg is well thought of, respected, and appreciated among his peers and supervisors. Greg would say he is doing his job. However, we all know he is one non-assuming guy that is always doing a little more and going the extra mile. So Greg, congratulations, and would like to give you an opportunity to come up and you can introduce your family, co-workers that are here, and say a few words. So, thanks.
I'd like to thank Corey and Danny for nominating me for this. I want to recognize my wife, Fawn, over there, my son, Josh, who's a lead worker in the storm drain, his wife, Tia, and my newest granddaughter, Kazik. And thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg. We really appreciate everything you do. You represent us well. Any other comments?
Yeah, just a quick comment. I think Greg is a perfect example of this city is just full of employees that are just come and do their job and do a good job, and appreciate that very much. And I know you're not doing it for the recognition, but thank you. I think we're very proud of our city employees, and Greg, thank you for the great work you do and the good example you are.
All right, thank you. You guys don't have to stay unless you just really want to, but now's the time to sneak out if you choose. We won't feel bad. Thanks for being here. Okay, now is the time for citizen comments. Comments are limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise approved by the council. We also have 2 public hearings, and this is not the time for the public hearings, but this is for our citizens who want to address the council.
I appreciate this opportunity to address the council and to remind everybody that June 14th is Flag Day. This year is the 240th anniversary of our adoption of our red, white, and blue as our national emblem. We should all celebrate that. But as with every living thing, sometimes flags get tattered and torn and worn out and need to be retired. And that's just what the American Legion Post 112 will be doing on Flag Day. I invite you all to come out to that ceremony when we will retire those flags that are no longer in service, respectfully and tear-jerkingly. It's a wonderful ceremony. Everybody who's able to should come out and be with us that night. And on a personal note, I would like to request that the city and the council think about portraying our American symbol on our nice video screens. Because as we all respectfully stand to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm not usually sitting here in the front, I can't see the flag because everybody stood up in front of me. I wonder if we couldn't portray the symbol, portray our symbol on the screen so that everyone would be able to say the Pledge of Allegiance with respect. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer, state your name. I forgot to ask you to do that.
I'm Jennifer Brass.
Thank you, Jennifer. Great comments. We really appreciate that. And we'll look into putting the flag on the screens. I think that's a great idea. Thank you. Any other citizen comments? Yes, if you would please state your name and just to the podium. Your name and address?
I'm Kathleen Stanford, and my address is 487 East Vine Street.
Thank you.
We just had a question. I have a memo that was sent to the city by Marianne Kirk and the Murray History Advisory Board. In this memo, she says, well, as you know, the MCCD ordinance states that the following properties are deemed historically significant and will be preserved, including the historic Murray First Ward and the Carnegie Library, and 3 other properties. But Marianne Kirk says in this letter, so I just wanted to ask kind of a question about this. It says, current condition, in order to get an exception for that, you have to show the current condition of, you have to show the current condition of the building. So Marianne Kirk says, current condition is stated in the first exception should be verified by independent professionals not associated with the developer. So we just can't see, and if someone could help me on this, we can't, I mean, the State Office of Preservation, the Utah Heritage Foundation, nor any other qualified independent experts, we don't think we're ever consulted about that condition. So we're just wondering if that condition has really been met. So that's our question. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm Tori Anderson at 521 East Vine Street, following up on what Kathleen mentioned with just a quote from the 2017 Murray General Plan, which states, "We regret much of what we've built, we regret much of what we've torn down, but we've never regretted preserving anything."
Thank you, Tori. Okay, other comments? Seeing none, we will continue on. We have no consent agenda scheduled, so we'll start with the public hearings. The first public hearing is to consider an ordinance relating to land use. It amends the zoning map for the property located at approximately 820 and 830 East, 5600 South, Murray City, Utah, from CD, which is commercial development, to RM15, which is medium density multiple family residential. Tim Tingy presenting.
Council members, this item was taken before the Planning Commission on April 6th. They had a public hearing and a recommendation was provided, which I'll talk about here shortly. want to just show some slides to give reference to what we're talking about. This is the property in question, approximately 2 acres, located on the south side of 5600 South, as you mentioned, just to the east of Vine Street. This is the property as well, showing the boundary and topography. As has been mentioned, the zoning right now, it's actually a single-family residence. It has a couple of buildings, which I'll show you, and the existing use is non-conforming because the zoning is CDC, as you've mentioned. CDC is commercial development conditional. It allows for a variety, primarily of retail uses. You see that up and down State Street. The majority of that area is CDC or commercial retail oriented. The proposal is in line with the general plan, and it will go to the medium density zone. I'll show you the general plan. This is from the document to the general plan, medium density. It shows that property as the future land use being designated as that. So it is consistent with the general plan, and this is simply a zone change application related to that. The type of uses that can be allowed right now in the CDC zone, as I mentioned, retail type uses, even auto dealerships are examples of things that could occur on that property, as well as a multitude of retail uses. The medium density allows for a variety of housing types, including single-family attached, detached, and also multifamily as well, low-rise type units. This is the current home. There's homes on the properties. These are the homes. These are just some renderings and pictures of the area as well. We have to the north, we have RM20, so higher density than what's being proposed here. To the south, R16, to the west, R18, which is single family low density, and then as I mentioned, to the east, CD zoning. So based on this, this proposal was taken to the Planning Commission. They recommended approval of that after taking comments. I do want to reiterate, in your packet, the information in your packet shows the properties that were designated per state law on noticing requirements. There was also some letters in there expressing some concern related to the proposal. The Planning Commission took all of that into consideration. Their recommendation was approval based on the general plan, based on the findings from that meeting and an analysis of the area included in the staff report. Staff is recommending approval of this request. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Are there any questions from the council for Tim? Okay. Now is the time for Michael Brodsky from Hamlet Development. Would you like to comment? Michael is the applicant sponsor.
Michael Brodsky, Hamlet Homes and Hamlet Development, 308 East, 4500 South, here in Murray. I'll quote from the report of the Planning Commission meeting here. Mr. Swanee comment, this is an interesting downzoning to a land use that is in line with the future land use plan, which he said doesn't happen often. Mr. Hall stated this does not happen often, but staff does feel it fits well as the zoning would be good for the area in terms of the other density nearby and what is planned in the future. There were, I'm not quoting anymore, there were a number of residents who live in the area who attended the Planning Commission meeting. And again, as I look through these notes and I recall the meeting, none of the residents spoke in opposition to the rezone. The concern that they expressed was traffic. And the concern they expressed, we talked with them after the meeting. We sent notices to the residents who had been in attendance at the Planning Commission meeting and met with a few of them in our office last week. Their true concern was they believed that the road that was proposed through their, adjacent to their property would then end into a cul-de-sac and create more traffic into their neighborhood rather than alleviate the traffic in their neighborhood. Your staff has strongly recommended that a public road bifurcate this property when it is developed, and the public road connects to a cul-de-sac existing cul-de-sac that had a right-of-way prepared for a future connection that would take it out to 56 South. So the likelihood that traffic coming off of 56 South will go through our proposed neighborhood into theirs is slim. The likelihood that those that live adjacent to us will use our new road as a convenient egress to 56 South is very high. I have, and I know that this is a rezone, should the council have any interest in what we're proposing to build, we have examples of the site plan with us as well as the architecture. We are currently building a community called Glenmore at 13th West and Winchester, and this is in many respects very similar to that neighborhood, where what we're proposing to build will be a combination of townhomes and single-family detached homes. And again, they'll be much the same product or same homes as we're building in Glenmore, and I think many of you have recently seen Glenmore. That's really all that I have to say, if there's any questions for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brodsky.
My pleasure, thank you.
All right, I will open this for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to speak to this, if they would fill out a public comment form and turn it in, Jan has those. Come to the microphone and be recognized. If you would also state your name and address. Did you fill out a form?
No.
Okay, after you're done,
To
if you
fill
would.
one out?
Yeah,
I
after
just
you're
thought
done.
maybe I should say something because I'm the only neighbor on my street that's involved, but.
Your name and address, please.
My name is Chris Smith, and I'm at 797 East Whispering Pine Drive. And from all of my neighbors on my street that I've spoke with, everyone seems to be quite happy with the change from commercial to residential. Our big concern was the fact that we thought the only road accessing that neighborhood would be from my circle, and we've later looked at the plans, which involve a road coming out onto 5600 South. So that was our big concern, like he said. So other than that, everyone seems to feel really good about having homes rather than lots of apartments in there and only one access. So I think they've accommodated us with that.
Great. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Don't forget to fill out your paper. Thanks. Are there any other comments? Okay. Seeing none, then I'll close this public comment hearing and put it back to the sponsor. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Brodsky? All right. Now, council members, do you have any questions?
Just comment, if I may. The 13th West Winchester development that Mr. Brodsky referenced is in my district, and it really is a first-rate project, and I'm glad to see it.
I actually was going to say something similar. I had Michael come before us many times since I've been here, clear back to along the Jordan River Parkway. And he proposed a rather elegant solution then. I've enjoyed working with him.
Okay. If that's all the
No.
comments, then I would entertain a motion.
I would make a motion we adopt the ordinance relating to land use that amends zoning map for the property located at approximately 820 East and 830 East, 5600 South, Murray City, Utah, from CD, commercial development, to RM15, medium density multifamily residential.
I would second that.
All right, it has been motioned and seconded. Is there discussion on the motion? Okay, Jennifer, would you call the vote?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, our second public hearing is to consider an ordinance relating to land use, amends the zoning for the property located at approximately 257 West, 4800 South Murray, Utah, from MU, which is mixed use, to MG Manufacturing. Tim Tingy presenting.
Once again, this item was taken to the Planning Commission for a public hearing on April 6th, and there was a recommendation on that as well that I'll talk about shortly. This is the property located on the south side of 4800 South. It's adjacent to existing manufacturing general zone to the east. You can see this is the property right here. MG is what is being proposed to be changed to from a zoning perspective. And that is the site right there, which currently has a car dealership facility there. Bottom line is, I think you're aware, the general plan, we brought the new general plan forward to you a few months ago. There was some public comment related to this site requesting that it be changed to the future land use being more of the light industrial manufacturing general. The council considered that and made that change and modification in the general plan. So this proposal tonight is supported by the general plan, and so this is not a general plan amendment because of that. Based on the information that was provided, the basic uses, there are some similarities in some of the uses, but more in the mixed use. There's allowance for more residential with a mix of uses. There's limitation on the size of storage facilities as well. And also the existing land use is non-conforming where it's at now, so this zone change would allow for the use to be conforming and meet the standards of the code. So based on that, based on the input at that public meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval. Staff is also recommending approval tonight of this modification to the zone. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. We have an applicant, Curtis Flam. Would you like to address the council?
How's it going? Just wanted to know if there's any questions or answer any questions you may have.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you
Anything?
answered questions that we had in a
Right.
previous meeting when you were here, so.
Okay.
You have anything else to tell
That's
the
it.
council?
Just thanks for your time.
Thank you. Okay, I'll open this for public comment. Seeing none, I'll close it and send it to the council.
Are you ready for a motion?
I am.
I would move approval of the ordinance relating to land use, amending the zoning map for the property located at 257 West, 4800 South, from mixed use MU to MG Manufacturing General District.
I'll second.
It has been motioned and seconded. Is there discussion on the motion? Okay, Jennifer.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, now. Thank you, Mr. Vlam. There is no unfinished business. Now we're at new business. And the first one is to consider an ordinance amending section 12.24.240 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to the recreation charge abatement. Doug Hill is presenting.
For approximately 20 years, the city has had an ordinance in place that will allow individuals who qualify under the federal poverty guidelines to apply for and receive a 50% waiver on recreation program fees, and as well as swimming pool annual passes. Because we recently did away with the annual passes at the swimming pool, we wanted to change this ordinance to reflect our current fee structure and bring it consistent. I also talked with the mayor, and he had recommended that we should add Park Center monthly passes as being eligible for the fee waiver. So that's what's before you tonight. It's an ordinance change, and it will allow, again, individuals who qualify and apply under the poverty guidelines to be able to receive a fee waiver of 50% on all recreation programs that the city offers, as well as a monthly Park Center membership. Just by way of information, the city, the last 2 years, the city has had an average of 35 applications from our community, and we've served about 150 people that have been able to take advantage of this fee waiver. So I think it's been a program that has been beneficial to those families that don't have the financial means to pay for everything.
Is this a city ordinance or in response to a state law? Or
It's not. It's just something that, like I say, 20 years ago, that the city felt like would help assist these low-income families to be able to participate in our recreation programs.
Any other questions for Doug? Okay, thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
All right, I will entertain a motion if there are no more questions.
I'd make a motion that we pass an ordinance amending section 1224-240 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to the recreation charge abatement.
And I'll second that.
Great. Okay, it has been seconded. Is there discussion on the motion? All right, Jennifer, would you?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, motion passes unanimously. And 10.2 is to consider a resolution setting a public enterprise fund hearing relating to the potential transfer of enterprise funds to the general fund. And it has that Justin Zollinger will be presenting. However, our new finance director, Denise Deck, will present.
This will be your maiden voyage.
I know, my maiden voyage.
Yeah.
I've done this for many years, but yes, here in Murray, it is my maiden voyage. Justin, I'm sure would love to be here, but he's in San Francisco at a rating agency meetings all week. So he let me do the honors tonight with his budget. The first resolution that you're going to consider, the state of Utah recently amended state code requiring that we hold a public hearing to discuss the transfer of funds from enterprise funds to the general fund. Specifically, it was intended to inform the public what those fees are going towards in support of the general fund. And typically, and what I see in our city and other cities, is that it is to support the time that the staff puts in other departments besides just the employees that are dedicated to the water fund. So these transfers are specific to those. The intention of the resolution is to set the date for the public hearing at June 6th at 6:30 at our regular meeting. Noticing requirements will include an explanation of the transfer, which is in Murray, the requirement has been 8% of the previous year's operating revenues. So it's very conservative in nature. It's much less than some of the other cities that transfer from their enterprise funds, in my experience. It also requires the amount of the transfer along with the percentage of the transfer as compared to the expenditures of that fund, the date, time, and place of the hearing, and the purpose of the hearing. This is to allow the public to comment on that transfer. The notices will be provided in the utility bills, and I'm assuming that's already been done. They'll be included on the Utah Public Notice website, on the city's website, and on all of our social media platforms. That's it.
Thanks, Denise. Are there any questions from the council?
Not a question, but a comment. This transfer sometimes seems to get villainized, and it's really an opportunity for us as a city, every member, every resident of this city, owns this power department, whether you're receiving service from it or not. And this is an opportunity for the city to receive a dividend from this enterprise that we own that benefits everyone in the city. And so I think this is that's something that sometimes gets overlooked. This is a benefit to everyone in the city, regardless of whether or not they're on Murray Power. So just wanted to make that comment.
That's a very good point.
I heard a council member once, because this does get villainized a lot, and there have been entities elsewhere in the state that have maybe taken advantage of this opportunity. But I had a councilman that was a business owner, and he said, if my overhead rate, because we used 10% in the city I was previously with, my overhead rate was 10%, I would be making a lot of profit. So it's a very lean amount to say 8% of revenues go towards overhead, and that would pay for my salary and Frank's salary, and I don't think that you could provide those services for 8% overhead. So I think that it's a very conservative and fair approach to the repayment to the general fund for services that are provided.
One other quick comment.
Sure.
And it's all enterprise funds that will transfer, but over 30% of the property in Murray is non-taxable. And our largest users of power and water are nonprofits. And so in lieu of tax transfer also is a way for us to recover some of the cost of providing services to those entities. And again, all of that gets lost in the, well, if you can afford to transfer the money, lower the rate argument. And as Councilman Camp said, the money that comes from the power department part of it goes to pave roads in areas that don't have Murray Power. So it does truly impact the entire city to the good and keeps our taxes low.
I think that's a valuable observation.
Okay. Thanks, Denise.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion from the council.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We adopt the resolution setting a public enterprise fund hearing relating to the potential transfer of enterprise funds. Boy, that's hard to say.
For you to say.
To the general fund, and set that date and time for Tuesday, June 6th at approximately 6:30 p.m. here.
I second that motion.
All right, is there a discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none. Jennifer, call for the vote.
Mr. Nabansi?
Aye.
Mr. Kemp?
Aye.
Mr. Brass?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye. Motion passes. Let's see. One more. Consider a resolution adopting the City Council's tentative budget as amended for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2017, and ending June 30th, 2018, and scheduling a hearing to receive public comment before the final budget is adopted. Denise?
So last week, the Budget and Finance Committee had performed a comprehensive review of the budget document, the tentative budget. They went over it with the mayor and the department directors, and there were a limited number of changes that occurred during those meetings. I'll go over those very quickly. They were grammatical and mathematical corrections. The removal of the Cottonwood High Banners contribution due to a restriction by state law as recommended by our attorney, and a reprioritization of road projects, including Golden Chain Drive and Bullion Street. There was no financial effect of the changes, and they will be reposted as an amended tentative budget this week on the city's website, and the request is to adopt the amended tentative budget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any questions for Denise? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do that one too, is adopt the resolution adopting the City Council's tentative budget as amended for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018, and scheduling a hearing to receive public comment before the final budget is adopted. And that date will also be set as Tuesday, June 6th at approximately 6:30. And just as a quick explanation. The reason the times are set at approximately 6:30, if we set an exact time, state law requires us to wait until that time comes around, and because our meetings tend to go quicker than most, we set everything at 6:30 so that everybody can leave when we're done.
Okay.
I'll second that. I'll even second your comment if you'd like.
All right, is there discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Now we're to the mayor's part.
I'll try and keep
Mayor?
them brief tonight. We have some good news that the Cottonwood Hydro, that we own up there, we borrow them all the water that comes out of the Cottonwood Creek there for a few minutes to run some hydro power for us. It generates about 5% of all the power use that we have, and is obviously our cheapest power. It's just about free, except for the cost of the people that go up there and monitor it. But it's running at 4 megawatts right now, which 4.8 megawatts, which I think, Jim, is the maximum capacity of the plant. And if we've been watching the weather reports, the amount of snowpack that we have is just tremendous this year. So it looks like we're going to be able to maintain that level of output of that plant for a considerable time this summer and fall. So we're very happy about that. However, on a sadder note, we had an accident yesterday at our amphitheater site. And so our Arts in the Parks season at the amphitheater will have to be postponed until we come up with a new schedule. We'll have to determine how long it will take us to remanufacture some of the parts. There was an individual that was slightly injured, is home now and is doing well and everything, but it is going to delay our opening of our amphitheater this year, so sad to hear about that. However, back on a lighter note again, once again, on Thursday, May the 18th at 7:30 over into the Murray High School football field, we'll have Murray is My Home Dance Festival, which features about 3,000 students from our area here, from 2nd grade to 12th grade. And once again, if you've been watching the weather reports, Thursday might not be a really good day. And so if Thursday is a bad weather day, the performance will be moved into the high school auditorium. And then on Saturday, May 20th at 10 o'clock, if you'd care to, you can take a narrative drive along the main arteries of our city with a few detours through our historical districts to learn more about our different historical landmarks. The event is free and lasts about 90 minutes. The drive will meet at the southeast parking lot of City Hall. Registration is encouraged by contacting Mary Ann Kirk at the Parks office if you'd like to do that. And then lastly, next Saturday, May 27th from 11 until 2, Fire Station 84, our fire department, will host an open house. The public is invited to stop by and have a free hot dog or a free hamburger if you'd like, and take a tour of the station. And this is in conjunction with the celebration of EMS Week, which runs the entire week of May 21st through May 27th. And that's all I have for the evening. So any questions, I'd be glad to entertain them.
Are there questions for the mayor? If none, then we are adjourned. Thank you.